I mean, look how good that looks. Let's raise the volume up. So this device comes in a number of names, but this one is from Banggood and they call it the Coolbaby. And this little Android device is packing a punch. Yes, it can play Dreamcast. Yes, it can play PlayStation 1, PSP, and even Nintendo 64. I'm loving this thing. For the price point, it's a pretty cool handheld. So today we have this little Android device called the Coolbaby S16. And it's running a 1.5 gigahertz processor, and this thing plays Dreamcast and Nintendo 64, and it's running an Android operating system. And what's crazy about this thing is it comes preloaded with some sort of Android software where you can just download games. I've connected this to Wi-Fi here, and if there's a particular game I want, I could just download it. And this is just the wildest thing ever. Let's see the download chart over here. So, for example, Crazy Taxi, I don't have it installed for Dreamcast. I hit this button right here. It's downloading. Now it's a Dreamcast ROM, so it's going to take a little bit longer to get. And then it installs, and the next thing you know, you're playing Crazy Taxi. And yes, it runs lag-free. So how crazy is this? It has a home select start button. There are no left and right trigger buttons on this thing. It's just a blank back. It does have a 4,000 milliamp battery. It does have an indicator light when it's on, and this is the newer model. If you notice the older model, you may have seen these before, and the D-pad looked like that. This is the newer model here that I got from Banggood. And it looks different in the picture. It shows the old D-pad, but it came with the correct D-pad. Comes in a multitude of colors, multiple different colors. The one thing I don't like about it is that it has the micro USB. I wish it was USB Type-C. It does have an HDMI cable. I don't know how many of you are going to be connecting this to an output device. But no, I'm not going to dive too deep in the software. It's my understanding that there might be another version of the software that's like kind of a beta version and an open source version where people are hacking it and they're getting a lot more out of this thing. I just want to review this thing from as is, from somebody just grabbing it, off the shelf. The two biggest bummers about it, I'll just start with that. It's got volume up and down here, is the micro USB and the lack of L and R button and a mono speaker here, or just a single speaker outlet. It's not like a dual speaker setup. So those are my biggest beefs about it. However, the analog stick is pretty nice. The screen is one of the more gorgeous screens I've ever seen. Let's go ahead and launch Crazy Taxi here. And it's one of the more gorgeous screens. It has a large battery, as you saw. Like I said, the screen is super high res, and it seems like a much larger screen than you would think. It has a lot of what you'd want. See, it's an Android device. You can see like the volume show up. And everything is pre-configured. All the games, I feel like the controls are really well done. And, I've played PSP now, Dreamcast, N64, no lag whatsoever. Has a dedicated power switch. At the top here, it does come preloaded with a micro SD card, but you can add your own. Charging port, HDMI out port, headphone jack. And look at this thing. It's checking my memory card right now. Just give this a second. There we go. Look how crisp that screen looks. It looks great. I love this white and black design. I think it looks gorgeous myself. And here we are in Crazy Taxi. So let's just take a look at this one more time. 6 buttons, 1 D-pad, 1 analog stick, a home button, select and start, a single speaker. On the left side here, indicator light and power. On the right side, just power up and down. On the bottom, you have nothing. On the back, you have nothing. And on the top, you have your micro SD, you have your charging port, micro SD, also known as TF, the auxiliary, and the HDMI out. Now, I saw a lot of really good reviews for this thing, and that's why I picked it up. Inside the box here, the only thing you really get is this charging cable, a little white charging cable, or black charging cable. That's it. That's all you get. And then the device, and it boots right up. You do need to set up your internet. Raihu back in here. I'm gonna get him on one of those. There we go.
this game in particular, you want to use your L and your R key, so it doesn't have any back buttons, so that is a downside. But I still feel like this layout here is like an arcade setup, and it's totally fine. And you have the choice between analog and D-pad. And like I was showing you earlier, you can absolutely, you know, control this thing just fine. Watch, I can do it. Works just fine, and then with the D-pad as well. It's a little harder to do. The D-pad doesn't like to flick as much, which I'm okay with because that's what I want my analog stick to do. Whew. So control-wise, it's actually quite nice. As long as you have the D-pad, I think if you had the older model which had something more like that, no thanks. So let's try Ridge Racer 2. Alright, here we go. Gotta do it at the right time. Yeah. Nice. Pretty cool. Alright, let's try oh, it's Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Okay. I actually want to swap out my other guy. Ouch. Alright, let's try this. So far, not a single hiccup. Analog stick works. Oh, sorry, I was watching the camera. I'm saving this for the finish line. How close to the finish line are we? Is there one more? Oh. Boom! Yeah! Alright, first place. This is sweet. Not a single bit of lag. So N64, PlayStation, MAME, Final Burn Alpha, Dreamcast. Running good. Let's try this. So we got to install it. It's downloading. That's what I was talking about, that even if there's a game you want to play, it just downloads it for you. This is basically like a Super Mario All-Stars Mario 3 remake. Just the Mario 3 version though. that's working good. Super Mario's action. Here, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. Great game. And this control is great. I could choose between analog stick or with a D-pad. Look how good that looks. So this particular version of Metal Slug, the original one, wasn't installed. You just gotta go and grab it. It's already ready. And here are my final thoughts. This is around $80 at the time of recording, and 2020 has been a crazy time for portable emulation devices. I think anytime you get close to the $100 mark, it's really hard to not give mobile phones a run for their money. You know, you could buy used mobile phones, you can buy things like that. And this one looks like a phone, like if you really think about it. However, it looks more like a Game Boy. I'm just saying this, the candy bar, you know, form, the overall size, but obviously it looks more like a Game Boy. Now there are like other devices out there like the Pi DMG, but the price point is much higher, and there's a lot. It's like for newbies, there's a lot going on there. Like a lot of people take that for granted. That a lot of people just want to buy this and start gaming. You know, you go into your mall and you see these like pre-made, these little kiosks selling like pre-made Nintendo, and they're total garbage. But the thing you're taking for granted is, yes, there's a, you know, it has a power on and it gets people gaming, you know, who know nothing about these emulators and things. But this one has something even more enticing for it, is that it's running Android. And because it's running Android, you can really get into some, you know, interesting. You can download additional emulators, you can change your emulator settings. Like I said, there's other versions of this operating system out in the wild and people are like working on it, so it has a big community behind it. You know, so for those reasons, this thing is a slam dunk as far as the price to performance to what you're actually getting. I have no, you know, reservations about it at all in that regard. Where I would really be kind of able to compare it or think about, you know, where else would I spend my money if I didn't spend it here, was really, you know, investing in a really nice Bluetooth controller and then using a, you know, a mobile device of some sort or a mobile tablet, especially if you wanted a larger screen. I guess that's something that's kind of interesting about these devices is, you know, the fact that the screen is still so small. Like the RG350 has a 3.5 inch screen just like this one does, so why wouldn't you just go and get that? But this one to me performs slightly better than the RG350, actually considerably better, so performance wise it doesn't even come close, and it's a totally different design in a gamepad. I prefer the design of the RG350 a little better, to be honest, but this one obviously has way better performance, and the fact that you can download games is fantastic. And it's in a similar price point. Now, the construction of this is plastic, it's not metal, so you gotta keep that in mind too. Whoa, jump. Let's just jump. Oh, just in time. Did you guys see that? Can't make these stories up. Oh, I forgot that I had it on the water. Throw them grenades, there you go. All right, we got that. So there's just so many variables, but I did watch some other reviews on this thing, and then I watched some roundups, and people were putting this in the top 5 best devices of 2020, and I'd have to agree. I put I haven't touched the RG351 yet, but it'd be this, the RG351, and there's a couple other Android devices out there. Especially if you're talking about all-in-one, comes ready to go. It's pretty nice. You heard in the beginning of the video, my biggest beefs with it were the single speaker here, no left and right button, and why does it still have to be micro USB? I think if they just fixed those 3 things, it would be amazing. Like small little things.
But to be honest with you, that wouldn't stop me from buying it. So I think I've chatted enough now. That's what I think. Let me know what you all think. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.